Hi again. Today, focaccia. Why have I decided to put focaccia on? Focaccia is completely all over the internet. Because I don't want it to be just a recipe. I'd like it to be a little bit more sort of into depth with it. First of all, come with me to a little trip back to about 14 years or something. My father used to give me 100 liras, which is equivalent to about 20 pence or something like that, for my morning breakfast, and that consisted usually of either a slice of pizza from the baker or a focaccia. Okay, now I would buy this focaccia, and that should have been really my sort of a mid-morning snack around about 10 o'clock. I should have been to have it at school, which invariably it would never reach 10 o'clock, because by 8 o'clock it was finished. In fact, it was finished on the way to school. But the thing that really sort of tricked my imagination and it has sort of left this focaccia stuck into my brain is the fact that every time I would buy the focaccia with the same 100 lira coin, sometimes I would end up with a slice like that, sometimes with a slice like that, sometimes with a long slice, and I was mesmerized by it. I really would have liked really to discover what made this focaccia different each and every time. I never did. I'm glad I never did. So this way I'm still looking for it and searching for it. These are the ingredients: strong white flour, but it can be done with brown if you like, okay? Perhaps doing half and half. Some nice rosemary, it could be oregano or a herb of your choice. Extra virgin olive oil, we got the salt and the yeast, water, and then we need some rock salt over it. Now this mix is better done in the machine. Invest a little money in a little mixer. This is a small mix, so any little mixer, as long as it is about 800 watts, should be able to handle it. The mixer really makes things a little bit easier for you. Alright, let's go to the machine and let's carry on and do it. Right, here we are. This is of course not the small mixer that I had in mind for you at home, but you know what I'm saying. Just bag your flour inside. Okay, so we got the flour into the mixer. We want to crumble the yeast. Just any ordinary baker's yeast, but use fresh yeast if it's possible. And then we will sort of raise a little bit the thing. And let's get it going on first speed, okay? What you do, just a little bit at a time, add the water. Now here we are talking about 70% water content. It's quite a wet mix, so it needs quite a bit of mixing. The flour, buy the strongest flour that you have. So I would advise like 13.5, 14% proteins. You can find the amount of proteins in the back of the sort of flour packet that they sell in every supermarket. If you buy organic, it's even better. Let the flour absorb the water. At the moment, all we have in here is just the flour and the water, and that's extremely important. And of course, we got the yeast. There is no salt in there yet, so make sure the salt is not in as yet. Neither is the olive oil. And I will tell you a couple of things about this. First of all, the salt has to be one of the last things you put in. And second, the olive oil acts a little bit as butter would act for a short, okay? So the dough really has to be developed and then the olive oil introduced, because it's only this way that the olive oil will sort of stay in between the layers of the dough without sort of penetrating the actual fabric, okay? So why is it that we want this? Well, we want this because then in the cooking process you will achieve that lovely fragrance that only a short can give you, okay? So for all intents and purposes, a raised dough short. Let's look at it this way, okay? Now, focaccia, what is it? I mean, was it born as a focaccia only, or has it got a meaning to exist? Well, in fact it has, but like everything in whatever, whether it's cooking or anything else in the path of life of us human beings, okay? focaccia would have been the very last bit of dough that was left after all bread had been shaped, and then so therefore it would be sort of the most fermented piece of dough, hence that fragrance. Okay, and it would have been used to test the temperature of the oven. Remember, they didn't have thermometers, and they didn't know how hot the stone of the oven was. All bread was baked on the stone. Okay. So they would use the focaccia as a visual element to see whether the oven was ready to perform. Of course they would drizzle a bit of olive oil over that. Perhaps to begin with they never did put any olive oil. Then eventually they started sort of making it tasty. And it turned into a delicacy and a specialty to the extent that now it is done on purpose, just like we are doing it now. If you come closer, I'll show you exactly how the sticks sort of are still to the sides of the bowl. Right. At this point, and only at this point, when all of the flour has disappeared from the mix and all we have is the dough, then you can increase the speed. And I would advise you to go sort of almost to the maximum. So I would say medium to fast. There we go. Now, at this point, we then introduce the salt. Okay, only at this point. The yeast has sort of been sort of introduced. There is no fear that the salt will act against the yeast, because as you know, salt and sugar, they are very much deterrents for yeast. So really what we're doing is trying to make his life a little bit easier. Okay. Off we go. And because the dough is completely developed now, let's wait that the salt is picked all up, and then we will introduce the olive oil, okay? You can just put it in. You can imagine really doing it by hands right now. Okay, my friends, you will now need about 10 minutes mixing at this time, but treat it a little bit as if it was a brioche, okay? The brioche, and you will see one of my next videos actually, needs quite a bit of mixing because of the excessive fat content in the shape of eggs and butter. Here we got a very similar situation because we got quite a large amount of olive oil, and the olive oil has to be absorbed, and it will take about 10 minutes. You will see really what it will look like once it's finished, and you'll be really pleasantly surprised not to have and happy not to have sort of a wither to it and put some extra flour, like I told you. Okay, so about 10 minutes, 12, 13 minutes, is according to that combination. Okay? Now your dough is now completely sort of left the sides of the bowl, okay? And if you come closer, I'll show you really what it should look like, okay? Like that. Okay guys, so here there is a bit of a technique, which I would like you to learn how to handle dough. Okay, so really you want to be able to handle it, and I will show you how, okay? Remember, it's a wet mix, so you really need to know what to do with it. First thing, you put a little bit of flour on top, not a lot, just a little bit. And when this lovely piece of equipment is a plastic scraper, dough scraper, we call it tarocco back home in Italy, okay? So what you do, you just literally do that, okay? And you end up with this lovely piece of dough. As you can see, that wetness is kind of disappeared. What we're going to do, we're going to turn it into a ball. Oh, it's beautiful, I can assure you it's fantastic. It's got a lovely velvety sort of feel to it. You make it, turn it into a ball. That's it. Leave it there a little bit. And now what you're going to do is, this is about 35 by 40. It's the size of a household oven, okay? So put really about half a glass of oil in there. With your hand, make sure it goes kind of everywhere, sides. Then you take your bowl and put it on the tray, and then you turn it once. Let let it soak in olive oil and turn it back again, okay? At this point, all he needs is about, as it is, covered up with cling film, and all he needs is about 3.5 to 4 hours, okay, of fermentation. Don't want to do anything to it, just don't touch it. We're going to cover it up with cling film, seal it nicely, airtight. Good. Now don't put it in a warm place. Let it sort of develop on its own accord. Leave it in the kitchen somewhere sort of temperature, ambient temperature if you like. And it takes about 4 hours to beautifully transform itself. And then I'll show you the last step, exactly what to do with that. Okay? It's not sticking to the cling film because of the olive oil that we put on top. All right? As you can see, there is no sort of a first step fermentation and then move from the first step onto the tray. It's a direct job. Now, what you want to do is just, that's it. Press it and put some nice olive oil over that. And with your hands, you do that job then. Now here we need sea salt, the nice good quality sea salt, alright? So don't be afraid really to put it, because it's really part and parcel of it, alright? And then a little trick now, but this is important, we need to scrape with water, okay? Now the water will go and settle where the holes are, and you will not allow the dough to cook only in that square centimeter inside, deep within the hole. And this is really the characteristic of the focaccia. That sort of soft and tasty, and but topped up with a lovely crusty sort of top, which makes it ever so interesting. Yeah? Beautiful, some nice rosemary, of course. Yeah? A bit of thyme if you got some. And I'm gonna put like a tiny little bit of oregano just to finish it off. Touch more olive oil. It doesn't really need a lot of rest at this point. All it needs is a very hot oven. This is important. So at home, a household home oven will go up to sort of 250. Okay? I give you a little advice, put it at 250 and put it ventilated. That way you get to about 264, 265. That's hot enough for a focaccia. Because focaccia needs a very short, fierce cooking, because you want it moist inside, the lovely crust on the outside. There it goes. Like we said, very hot oven, and about 15 minutes cooking, that's fine. Let's put the ecco qua. See you in 15 minutes. Okay, we're gonna need another couple of minutes. Huh? I say 3 minutes. Okay, the 3 minutes have expired, so here we are. We're going to pull it out. Huh? As you can see, I mean, we said 15 minutes. 15 can easily turn into 16, 17 or 18, as well as could be 14. It's according to how your oven is performing in that particular moment, whether it's on the up or on the down. Now the focaccia is actually ready. What we're going to do now, we're going to put a little bit more oil on top. And this will be absorbed by the dough. Now, I know it's a staggering amount of olive oil, isn't it? But most of it is used raw, and it's part and parcel of the dough. Don't deny it to yourself. Just eat a little bit less, but enjoy it. At least you know it's a natural product. And now we're gonna wait sort of 5 minutes or so, and we're gonna slice it, okay? Because I really would like you to see what inside should look like. Okay, my friends, focaccia is a little bit cool. You don't want it too cool because it's quite nice, a little warm. It's lovely, sounds fantastic. It's really talking to us. Inside, really, this is what it should look like. And we're gonna taste it. This is it. And it didn't even cost me 10 liras. To the next one, thank you very much.